Bucs versus Eagles, big game on Sunday. Of course, both teams undefeated, got there in different ways, and it's been a good rivalry. The Bucs have kind of had the upper hand of late. However, as Stephen A. would say, there are some, I don't know, red flags, and not just the ones that they wave at the stadium when it comes to the Bucs right now. I think let's start with the good news first. I had a chance to talk to Tristan Wirfs. Was hoping to talk to Chris Godwin. That didn't happen. I would say based on his body language and what he's talked about, that I believe now, and I thought maybe he was less of a chance of the two of them. I believe now that Wirfs is going to play. I believe that he talked in the past tense in some respects to the boys, that have had to fill in have played great. He did say that he is pain-free, which, is great. And he's been doing nothing but conditioning, and, that's frustrating and things like that. But it appeared to me, at least, that he plans to play. Now, could he have a reaction to practice and not feel so good on Saturday or Sunday? I suppose that's possible. But for all the world, I just reading the body language and sort of the attitude, I believe that Tristan Wirfs is going to play, which is huge because you're not just getting him back, you're getting three linemen back in their regular spots. He praised obviously Graham Barton for what he's been able to do, stepping out to left tackle, which is so hard and so unusual. Talked about Ben Bredesen will be able to go back to left guard. So there's a lot of positives if Tristan can play. And right now, I think he is. Nothing official. He'll be listed probably as questionable right up until they'll probably say, well, it's a game time decision. I expect Bowles to stand up there tomorrow and say that both him and Godwin are game time decisions. Although a little harder in Chris's case because he was for the first time full participation in practice. He had a full. So, that would indicate that he is ready to play. And, and it's a little different with the receiver too, because he's not playing every single snap the way a left tackle would. You can pick your spots a little bit better there with Godwin. But I do expect Chris to play, even though we haven't talked to him and don't know for sure. So those are two big things to watch, and certainly will change their fortunes dramatically against, a Philadelphia team that's really good up front. You need your guys. Charlie Heck has been questionable all week long. So, and he's already their backup swing tackle. So you certainly need him to play on the right side. And then we'll see if they, if it's Luke Haggard at guard or what they do there. That remains to be seen. I think of more concern for me, maybe not them, maybe not the Bucs, clearly not Todd Bowles or Josh Grizzard, apparently, is that Baker Mayfield's not practicing. Period. Okay. Wednesday, the big install day. Thursday, another big install day. Friday is kind of more or less 2-minute, type stuff. Baker Mayfield has not, to my knowledge, thrown a football. Watched him come out, go through some, drop drills, would just underhand the ball back. Everybody else is throwing to a, equipment guy or whatever to a spot. I don't believe, and I wasn't out there during the regular practice, but when I did see him, he had his shoulder pads off. He wasn't doing anything. They have him listed as limited, okay, which may be true if you're taking snaps. You are participating some in practice, but I think he's going to go into this game. Maybe on Friday he throws. We'll have to go out there, around 10:40 in the morning and see if he's actually, throwing the ball overhand. But my understanding is it's precautionary because he does have this bicep thing. And if you remember in the game, it wasn't like somebody hit his shoulder or his arm that was going forward, and maybe it was his bicep. Maybe there's a contusion there, or we would just call it a sore arm back in the day, bicep strain. No, I got a sore arm. Used to get them all the time in baseball. So the only sort of remedy for that is rest. And well, you're not going to rest. You're in the middle of an NFL season. So they've tried to rest him during the week in these last two practices, but I've rarely known players, much less quarterbacks, that can not practice and be extremely sharp on game day. Like there's something to the timing, there's something to the game plan and all of that, and seeing it in real time behind center. So you know what? Maybe Teddy Bridgewater earns his money this week. I'm not saying they would start him, but obviously if he re-injures or aggravates that injury again in his bicep, then that might be a reason to pull him. So anytime you say quarterback and injured list, that's when I get nervous, Steve. It's not like any other position. Like you need to see things in real time at real speed and throw the ball, not just mentally go through. Like, I think the guys that practice play better than the ones that don't.
I think that's true. But I also, he's a veteran too. So, like younger quarterbacks, I think it's more true for.
Yeah.
And this almost could be like that first regular season game when you didn't play all preseason.
Right.
Like it's
true.
not the same. It's not apples to apples.
It's similar though. But he was practicing then. He just wasn't playing the games.
But I'm just saying, you see quarterbacks all the time. They maybe gets off to a slow start and will get in a rhythm with the game. Although, more importantly, how healthy is that bicep?
And that's a great question you asked, because all I know is this: is that if you're talking about a right throwing arm on a quarterback, and there's anything wrong, elbow, forearm. I remember he got hit. He got hit when his arm was moving forward. I think it was an incomplete pass, and I thought maybe there's one where he might have smacked his hand on a helmet. It didn't look good, right? Because you have all that motion going forward, and that must have I'm guessing it's when he hurt his bicep, because he came off the field and he was waggling his fingers, really quickly, trying to like get feeling back in him.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe there was like a little impingement on the nerve or whatnot. I'm not exactly sure, but if you watch the game, you'll kind of see where he's shaking his hand pretty good, and that might be related to the bicep injury. I'm not really sure, but yeah, it's kind of like I've subscribed to the Tony Dungy theory, and this was years ago. That Tony would say to me that he goes, I would rather play a guy who has practiced that may not be as good of a player than a really good player that didn't practice, because I just don't think you can play as well if you don't practice.
I think that's true for almost every position but quarterback.
Except quarterback. Yeah, I would agree.
I'm sorry. If my starter can go, he's going.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, perhaps he's taking a veteran move. We talked about this last night, but McMillan's out. Evans is out. Godwin, we're not even sure if he's coming back yet.
Hey, you got this one, Teddy?
O'Keefe's out. Now, I do have my left tackle coming back. That helps. But
well, we think he is. We don't know.
Well, yeah, we think he's back. Maybe I'll just maybe. No, I'm kidding on that, because that's not Baker's mindset. But
yeah.
But yeah,
this might be a good week for Teddy Bridgewater. Yeah, bridge over troubled water.
I mean, any position but quarterback, if maybe you start the backup.
Yeah.
But the starter could actually come in and play limited snap. The quarterback, you're either starting and playing or you're not. Like, Baker's not going to be the backup quarterback in this game.
No. But the guy taking the reps, and here's the thing. So you have a game plan, right, that you're going to design specifically for the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
And you're executing that game plan in practice, except the guy pulling the trigger is not the guy that's going to pull it in the game. And again, you can sit back there and take the mental reps, and I'm sure he's done this before where he didn't practice and played, and maybe he's played okay. I'd have to go back and look. But, it's Teddy Bridgewater that's throwing the ball around to these guys right now, and as well he should, because he may have to play. And you cannot convince me that if your arm is that bad and that sore, and everybody in the organization said, it's fine. It's just we're taking it easy. We don't want to push anything. And that makes sense, right? You're 3-0. But right arm, quarterback, I really think that Baker has taken too many hits already, and we're only 3 games into the season. I mean, I walked behind him in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
Where he took shot after shot. Remember, get hit on the knee, and then he jumped up and he started talking to CJ Gardner or something.
Yep.
And, you know, I have a videotape of it on my timeline. Like, he's walking like an 80-year-old man back to the locker room, hoping to get his hamburger or whatever. But he's taken a lot of hits, and we're not a month into the season. And all those runs that he made, where he took those hits, they were all necessary for them to win. Every single yard that Baker Mayfield churned out on the ground, the Bucs have needed to win these 3 games. And yet, you're just 3 games in, and you're throwing yourself around like you're Josh Allen, and you're not, So at some point, and part of that too, by the way, is because our offensive line has been so bad.
Well, there's 2 parts to this. One, it's you're having to come back late in games, which means you're having to convert
That's
third
true.
downs. And,
That's true.
You're sitting there
Fourth
going,
downs in some cases.
It's 3rd and 9, and I'm going to have to scramble and take a hit, or
4th and 10.
Or because you're trailing and having to come back, you're passing all the time, which means your quarterback's back there in the pocket with 4 or 5 or 6 guys coming right at him.
Yeah.
And the other part of this is your offensive line was banged up.
It was beat up. Yeah.
Now, Tristan Wirfs coming back, maybe that helps solidify things. It makes that pocket allows him to stay in a little longer, finish the throws instead of scrambling, not take as many hits because the blocking was better in front of him.
Oh, it's huge. It's huge. If Tristan Wirfs has his backside, I promise you, Baker Mayfield will never think about whoever is coming off that edge. He won't. He'll be that confident.
Agreed.
So that's a game changer for him and the team. Yeah, you may be right. I mean, I think, he's got to be smart about it, but by the same token, I go back to this right arm. Right arm for a quarterback who is right-handed. It's not good, man.
Right. But like you said, every one of those hits he had to take. Like
he had to take to win the games. Yeah.
It wasn't like he was making those runs the first drive of the game and getting beat up. Like he took some hits in the pocket, but
he threw himself around in those 2-minute situations. Yeah. He has, I think, the longest or the second longest run of the year, like 33 yards or something.
Mm-hmm.
So he's done he's always been a gamer. He's always done what it takes to win. And I guess you go by, we talked to him on Wednesday, and it's the old thing. Well, if Baker's not worried about it, why should anybody else? And he seems fairly confident that he's going to play. I don't think they'd have put him up there if there was a big question about whether he's going to play or not. I absolutely think he will, and he may practice today. But they're definitely
didn't they put him up before they put the injury report out?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
Wednesday.
So
we didn't know.
It's easy to put him out there.
Right. We didn't know.
Come out. Yeah. I mean, he didn't speak today. He didn't speak Friday.
No, he spoke on Wednesday.
Right.
Yeah. No one had seen the injury report yet. They didn't need one until after practice.
Right.
So he found out at 4:00 he was limited. Well, he was limited today, but what I'd like to know what the definition of limited is, that he was out there, that he had a helmet, because I don't think he got many reps with anybody. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am.
So the funny thing is to me, limited for a quarterback, they're not taking any hits in practice.
Exactly.
If you're limited, it means you didn't throw, or you gave up some reps.
I think more importantly, exactly what you said. He did not throw the football. Yeah. He could stand under there, take the reps, right? Do the play action fake, look up and see Emeka Egbuka and just do a throwing motion, which is kind of what he was doing in warm-ups that we watched. He's just going through the mode, take the snap, drop, set, go through the throwing motion, but not actually throw the football. So there's something going on, and I don't doubt that he'll prepare as hard as he can. But it's, I hear right arm and quarterback. I can remember Jameis Winston having a situation that was similar to that, and he played through it, but it wasn't good. His arm, it was clearly diminished, and it was almost painful to watch him try to throw the football. Now, he never took time off, and it got better each week, and eventually he forgot about it. But, this could be a nothing burger or it could be a something burger. I'm just not really sure yet. All right, so Eagles, Bucs, and I would say this, that the Buccaneers have had the Eagles' number, and particularly they've had Jalen Hurts' number, because they have found a way to minimize his ability to run the football. and they've done a decent job of kind of setting the edge and making them go up inside where, you've got some big guys. And I think the biggest thing is Philadelphia has trouble running on this team. This is a really good run defense. This is a top 5 type run defense
No
because
question.
of Vita Vea and everybody else. And Saquon Barkley being a big back is a load for most teams. But guess what? You got a load up front that he's got to get through. Now, what would scare you if you're a Bucs fan is that Saquon's averaging under 4 yards a carry, and he's due, right? The other thing that I think he's a bigger threat in is, and they did this the last time they played, is the screen game. If they use Saquon as a receiver, I mean, we've seen Servassier Dennis miss tackles on lesser players than that, right? And this guy has speed and power, and he's going to be chugging right at you. So if I were the Eagles, I would be getting the ball to him, but I wouldn't be handing it off. I'd be throwing it to him in the flat and just making the DBs and linebackers and everybody try to rally and tackle him. So that's maybe not a great matchup, but one that you need to watch. That every time they have play action or Hurts drops back, you're going to see Saquon stay in, maybe pick up a blitz, maybe chip, but eventually he's going to circle out of that backfield. And I guarantee you he's going to see the football because he's an outstanding receiver. And once he gets going, man, he's hard to stop, really hard. And I think he's due. I think he's due. Fortunately for the Bucs, they have a really good run defense. It's not a joke. They really do know how to stop the run. And so from that standpoint, I feel, he's not going to just, bulldoze his way to the end zone, but he can do a lot of things. And this is a loaded Philadelphia team, and they're led by their offensive line. It's a good group. It's a big group. I think the Bucs defense has been playing much better of late. They're not dominant in any one thing, but they're really good in a lot of things, which I think you need. So the thing is that the Bucs they're not going to be afraid of Philly. I mean, they've beaten them twice, in the playoffs and whatnot. And so I don't think that Hurts comes in here intimidating them. Why she could end up hanging a 60 burger on them, I really don't know. But I think it's going to be one of those tough games that's decided late in the fourth quarter. And right now, I think the Eagles are maybe 3.5 point favorites, which makes it kind of a toss up. So I think it's a great matchup, and it's one that what's good for the Bucs is that their carrot is that these are the defending Super Bowl champs, and we need to measure ourselves against this team right now. If we can take down the defending champs, that puts us in a different level altogether, right? And that's kind of been echoed, around One Buck Place that it's time to see how good we are, and I think that's what they're looking forward to.
No question, and I completely agree. If I'm Philly, I'm attacking Servassier Dennis.
Got to,
like every back out of the backfield, the screen game, that's
absolutely.
That's where the Bucs are most vulnerable.
Agreed.
And Saquon is very good at that.
Yep. Yeah, he gets ahead of steam. Mm-hmm. You're not bringing him down with one guy. You better rally to that football, because if it's 1-on-1, he's gonna run right over Sebastian if he can even catch him, which he might not.
Yep.
So huge matchup, and they've got their receivers. They've got their receivers, mm-hmm. and they haven't always had them. Now I think the secret sauce really for Jalen Hurts is not to throw that much, because when he gets over 25 passes, he frequently has a different outcome. So I think the sweet spot is right around 20 to 22, passes or so. And that's sort of where he should live. But if you see him eking much above 25, now he's kind of out of his comfort zone.
Well, and that's the matchup of this game, because the Bucs defense is a good run defense, and
that's right.
Stopped Philadelphia traditionally.
That's right.
So how long does Nick Sirianni and the Eagles stay with the run game?
Yeah.
If it's not successful,
right?
If they're not getting first downs and chunks of yards,
mm-hmm.
But that's assuming that the Eagles don't have a big lead, where they're just only going to run.
They might just pound it, yeah.
Right. So that's kind of the chess match, and
mm-hmm.
It's going to be this is the toughest team the Bucs have faced this year.
No question. I mean, they're defending Super Bowl champs.
Yep.
They're loaded everywhere.
Mhm.
You know, and A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith have had games down here where they didn't play, and they're both healthy, and they're both going to play. And
Yep.
those two guys are outstanding, as is Dallas Goedert, their tight end. So from a coverage standpoint, you're going to be stressed, right? You're going to be stressed, and you got Barkley out of the backfield. He'd probably be the second or third or fourth option. And it's a nice group. Their offensive line is very, very solid. Those guys are hard to move. We know they got the tush push, and the Bucs have had some success with that, I think, because of Vita Vea and others. But yeah, Brown, Smith have been kind of frustrated. They haven't gotten the ball as much, and that starts with Jalen. And yet, I don't think he wants to get into a throwing match. I think he wants to stay around 20, 25 passes a game, do his job, get the ball in the playmaker's hands, and win the game, and then move on. I don't think the thing about what's great about Hurts is like a little like Brady. He didn't care if he threw for 150 yards or 450 yards. He really didn't. He got past all that. Just win the game.
He might. I actually heard. I was actually listening to Philly radio this week, and they were talking about how Jalen Hurts is so underappreciated as a quarterback. The way he runs the team, handles the pressure. Like, there's not much difference between him and Mahomes. And Mahomes gets all the love. Now he's got 3 Super Bowls, but he's played longer too.
Yeah.
But Hurts has now been to 2 Super Bowls.
2, 1. Yeah.
Yep.
Should have won 2 of them, actually.
Yeah, he should have.
Mm-hmm. He had a hell of a game in that one.
And how, they've won 19 of the last 20 games?
I think they're 19 out of 19 in the game, or 18 out of 18 in the games that Hurts has finished.
Okay.
Like, basically, they haven't lost.
Yeah.
Like, if it was one season, the 72 Dolphins would not have popped the champagne. Yeah, it's been really impressive. He's really impressive. I remember interviewing this guy at the combine. They put these guys up on the podiums, and Hurts was one of many quarterbacks that was coming out that year. I can't remember who the flavor of the week was, but I remember standing in front of him and listening to him answer questions. And of course, he transferred from Alabama and all that.
We got benched in the national championship game.
Got benched, yeah. They put in Tua, right? Ends up at Oklahoma, does extremely well there, and now he's at the combine, and people are talking to him about Alabama and all the history of his life and his college career and that. And I just sat there, and the longer I sat there, I literally said that to somebody. I go, I don't care if I needed a quarterback or not. That guy I want on my team. I would draft that guy now just to have him in my locker room, because he was that impressive. He was serious. He was not, full of delusions of grandeur. Like he wasn't self-promotional. He just spoke perfectly, and he was inspiring, and you could see like the impact he must have had on everybody he played with, on his teammates, and he was beloved. But you could just tell, like, this is a dude, like, this guy is special. He's got some leadership stuff that's rare here, humility. You knew he was talented as hell. You knew he could play, but it was all those little intangibles, almost. I'm going to compare him, so watch out here. But in the sense that it's a little Brady-esque in that he'll do whatever it takes to win the game. He does not care if he throws for 400 yards. It doesn't bother him at all.
Nope.
So that makes him dangerous, in my opinion. But they got good players, man. Devontae Smith, Jahan Dotson, A.J. Brown, Barkley. I mean, go on and on. Goddard. I mean, holy cow. And then that big offensive line.
They got a good offensive line, too. That's the other part.
They just crease you. Lane Johnson. I mean, Landon Dickerson. They're all still there. They're all got rings. So it's going to be an epic battle, I think, for the Bucs to try to get to 4-0. And then, of course, doesn't get easier. They go to Seattle. You still got games with the Niners at home. I think you're at Detroit. So really a different quality of opponent starting with this Sunday. And you just hope, everything cooperates. It's supposed to be maybe a little rainy in the area and that thing. But Baker's definitely going to need help from his running backs, from his defense. It'll be a team win. No one's going to, even though he's put his team on his shoulders the last 3 weeks in the 2-minute drives. I don't think that's what this is going to come down to. I think the team that gets the turnovers, the team that gets out in front, is probably going to stay there. It just kind of feels that way. And we'll talk a little college football and Rays, which is wrapping up their season here.
We got some
this
lightning
weekend
news too to discuss. So,
oh, good, great. So we got all three. It's that time of year. Hey, but first, I want you to get on down to Breitling Boutique International Plaza Mall. You know where that is. That's that big, beautiful mall not far from the airport. And when you go in there, go to the center where at Christmas time you see Santa and whatnot. Go upstairs. That's where you're going to find the Breitling Company. They've been in business for over 140 years, making the best Swiss watches you could ever hope for. They've been in International Plaza for more than 5 years. And it's where you're going to find the men's watches, the chronomats, the Navitimers, watches for your wife, your girlfriend. These are sports watches. They are absolutely beautiful. They're durable, and she can pick from an array of different colored wristbands. And while supplies last, and this is so important, they've been celebrating the NFL's 104th year anniversary with the 32 team watches. So each team has a watch, but again, it's while supplies last. And these are the beautiful chronomat watches. I've seen the Bucs watch in particular. It's terrific, and you're gonna want one. Trust me. Go to tampabay.com. You'll probably see a picture of it on our website as well. It's Breitling Boutique. It's at International Plaza Mall right here. Go pick up the perfect timepiece for you or your spouse, and make sure you let them know that you heard about it right here on Sports Day Tampa Bay. Epic collapse today by the Tampa Bay Rays. I was listening on the radio on the way home from One Buck Place, and apparently they had a 3-0 lead, blew that. And when I turned it on, I want to say it was 5-2 in the 8th inning.
yep.
And oh man, Kelly just gave it up. They end up with 3 runs to tie it up. They go to extras, and then was it the first pitch, I think, that was thrown in the extra innings? It was a bomb and a walk-off win, just devastating in a year that's had plenty of devastating losses. There's another one. And I guess they gave up their chance to finish 500 by losing as well.
Yeah, that's their 82nd loss, which is the same number of losses they had last year.
Wow.
So in order to match last year, they have to sweep the Blue Jays this weekend, who are in a fight for the division lead with the Yankees.
Is there any scenario you would have said that, this team's going to have a worse record than last year's? I guess the field is a factor, so it's not impossible. But
there's a lot of factors, but no, with the starting pitch, if you'd have told me at the beginning of the year that they would have had 3 starters go 30 starts,
which is really great.
We thought their starters were great. Now, you didn't get McClanahan back, and you didn't get Hassan Kim back as early as you thought either.
Yeah, that was a waste.
But that your starters would be as healthy as they were, and you thought it was a really good starting staff going in.
Yeah.
That Junior Caminero would have 44 home runs, almost close to setting the franchise record, still could. Brendan Lau has 30 home runs, which means he stayed healthy. And that you're going to end up with a worse record than the year before. Yandy Diaz hits 300.
Right.
Like I don't know if I would have believed. I wouldn't have believed you. With that set of scenarios. I mean, you would like McClanahan back. You would have liked Hassan Kim back earlier, and he's actually done really well since he joined the Braves, playing every day. But yeah, it's just so many. There's so many factors and things that I think have gone into this.
Well, look, Romano wrote about it, said it was a historic collapse because they were until the other day a plus 49 in run differential, and most teams, almost every team has made the playoffs or won a hell of a lot of games, and the Rays did not. I continue to say, and someone can't prove me wrong, that it had everything to do with the ballpark, and more importantly, the Rays' maybe insistence or allowance to backload the schedule that, during the rainy seasons, quote unquote, June, July, maybe part of August, that the majority of their games were on the road. When I say majority, at one point it was 19-21 on the road, and the ones you were playing at home were the Los Angeles Dodgers, and as Tom and I talked about the other day on the radio, it's like, he covered hockey for years, and the worst game that those teams would have was the first game back off the road.
Yep.
They're coming off a road trip, and then they trying to get their bearings, and they sleep in their own beds, and the next thing you know, they're out there on the rink, and they're not very good, and it's just they're exhausted. They got to get their routine back. So, yeah, I don't really know, man.
It's I think we'll be dissecting, and it's going to be interesting what happens in this offseason. And I think that's going to tell you more about what happened this season than anything, assuming Eric Neander in the front office stays mostly intact.
Right. Who's making those decisions first and foremost?
But I mean, what moves they make this offseason will tell you a lot about what they think went wrong this season.
Well, if they don't do a lot, it tells me that they felt like the ballpark was the issue. And or scheduling, but mostly, look, I think we all agree that bandbox that they have over there with a short right field fence, while a lot of guys hit home runs, including Yandy Diaz and others, that's not really the way the Rays are built. The Rays are built to, roam a spacious outfield that they don't have, with lots of foul territory that they don't have, and that's what favors your pitching when you have ballparks that have that kind of room, and it's got to take an honest fly ball to get it out of the park, but that wasn't the case with Steinbrenner. So I think they struggled with that a little bit.
No question about it. But yeah, what moves do they make? Do they overhaul the roster, or do they make some tweaks?
Yeah, it's a great question.
And I think that'll tell you more about what they think, or what they're, because they outscored their teams by 40 or 50 runs. Like, you're not supposed to have a losing record when that happens.
No, they were a plus 49 the other day.
It may not be 95 wins, but you should be 85 or 86.
Absolutely.
It's kind of like in hockey. Goal differential isn't the end all be all, but generally, if you have a positive goal differential, you're in the playoffs.
You're doing pretty good. Yeah, you're in the playoffs.
That's generally the way it works.
Yeah.
Particularly if you have a significant more,
right, plus 49.
Plus 2 or 3, I mean, who cares? But
right.
Plus 49 runs. That's huge.
It's like, holy crud, man.
Yeah.
I know. They managed to buck the odds here. I'm not sure how they did it, but they did it.
This offseason, I'll be curious, does Pete Fairbanks come back?
Is he a free agent?
No, they have an option on him, but do they trade him?
They have an option. Yeah, they could trade him.
How confident are they?
Can I just tell you, I don't know the guy. Okay, I've seen it. I've interviewed. I didn't interview him. I've been there while he was interviewed. I held a microphone a few times. I may have asked a question or two, but I've seen him. I've seen him on the mound. He has the makeup for a closer. He has the stuff, obviously, but there's something that just isn't quite right for me. He's a little bit flaky, which is fine. That's what a lot of bullpen guys are. And I don't want to say he makes excuses necessarily, but I don't know. He just has you don't know what to expect if things go bad, and kind of what he's going to say. So I don't know. He was inconsistent this year, that's for sure. That much we know. So you might want to find a new closer.
Yeah, I mean, what starters do they bring back? Or do they bring them all back? Do they bring Adrian Hauser back? Do they try to sign him? He's a free agent.
Yeah, he's a free agent. Yeah.
What do they do with Griffin Jacks, who they traded for, but hasn't been as effective in the pen as you had hoped, and he was.
It's a lot of money to keep him.
He's been a starter previously. Could they move him to starter?
Could they move the bullpen? It's worked before. Yeah. They'll have a plan, and then the biggest thing is who's making the plan and who's executing it.
Yeah.
Are we sure Eric Neander is going to be here? Are we sure that Kevin Cash is going to be here?
That's the bigger question. I mean, if there's wholesale changes like that or big changes like that, then what moves are made isn't necessarily going to tell you much.
True. That's true.
But if everyone's if Cash is back, if Neander's back, if most of the front office is back,
yeah,
then the types of moves they make or how they revamp this roster. I mean, I think your infield's fairly set for next year. Aranda, Brendan Lau. If Carson Williams is here full time, and then Caminero.
Yep, I agree.
Your infield set. So it's really, from the hitting perspective, what are you going to do in the outfield? Is Josh Lowe still here?
Is Josh Lowe still here is a question. Yeah. If he is, he's going to play right field. And then, Chandler Simpson, I think, has earned the right to play either left or center, but he's earned the right to be in the lineup every day.
Right. So you put Simpson and so if you're going to keep low, and who's your other outfielder?
You got Mangum.
I don't think it's Mangum. I think he's gone.
Really?
I think Mangum and Simpson are the same guy.
The dude batted 300.
I'm not. It's not a knock on him. What I'm saying is you've got two of the exact same guys in the outfield. Like,
yeah, you need some power, I guess.
You need to upgrade your offense. So if your
Yeah,
infield's
that's true.
set, then it's your outfield. You can't have
That's true.
You can't have Simpson and Mangum together. I think Mangum's a good player. Like I'm not knocking him.
He's also 28 years old or whatever.
29 or going on
29.
30.
Yeah, 29. That's right.
I mean, if Chandler Simpson's not on this team, I'd love Jake Mangum on this team.
Sure.
But I don't think you have both of them on the team. What is DeLuca? What is Palacios? Do we even know?
Well, that's a good point. We
and
don't.
Then, they traded for Fortes and Fiducia. Are they the catchers of the future, or are they still looking for a catcher? Because neither one of them hit very well.
No, they didn't hit well, and it seems to me like they're always looking for a catcher. So
now, I also think when you get traded to a team, particularly like Tampa, but when you get traded to a team in the middle of the season as a catcher, like you're so focused on the pitchers and everything else that goes into it.
Agree.
Like, I'll be more curious if they're the catchers next year, what they look like in spring training offensively, what they look like as you go to the regular season. Like, I think when you get traded midseason,
they're just trying to catch up and do a job defensively, right?
Yeah, the way catching is now,
and
these are both young guys too, so they're not, fully developed yet either. But like the catching part of it defensively is more important, and always will be to the right.
I think so. Yeah.
So I don't, they haven't hit yet. You're hoping they can, but we'll see. But if they go out and get another catcher, it tells you that they're not completely sold on those two.
It's true.
But, if your infield set, then it's the outfielder catcher where you got to upgrade your offense.
Mm-hmm.
And if Yandy's back as your DH.
He should be.
Yeah. So, like I said, there's 5 of your 9 batting order in the infield and DH set. So then the other 4, and Simpson's going to be here. The question is, who are the other 3 spots?
Yeah, no, I agree. And are they going to do, will this new ownership group come in here and, I don't know, try to make a splash, sign a big name free agent, spend a little money?
Could do that too.
Little goodwill.
Free agency is going to be interesting this year too, because we don't know what's going to happen in 2027 with baseball.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know if there'll even be a season. I mean, there's going to be a lockout come next November.
Yeah.
Because it's November and it doesn't matter. So they're not going to have a deal done before November, I don't think. The sides seem way too far apart. And who cares if you lock out November, December, January? Nobody cares. But,
no, that's true.
How will free agents, what kind of contract, how that, I don't know how it's going to go this offseason. It's going to be interesting to see.
It's because there's so much change. Who's making the decisions? What's the payroll? You overpaid for the team by many, many millions of dollars to where the Stuart Sternberg's still holding the bag for 10% of this club. You probably are looking at building a stadium that may cost well over $1 billion with a B, maybe closer to $2 billion.
It will be. It will be over $1 billion, no question.
Yeah. So, those are all, and you don't know where it's going. You don't know what land you're going to be able to get to put it on. There's so many things up in the air that maybe the least of it is what the team is going to be like. And then the other thing I would say is that, are we sure Kevin Cash is going to be here next year? And I don't mean their choice. I mean his. Does he have it? I didn't know that Joe Madden had it out in his clause that if Andrew Friedman went somewhere that he could,
Well, I don't think there's any certainty Neander and Cash are back. And because, like I said, even if there is no out in their contract, if they just said, "Hey,
I don't want to coach.
I don't want to coach here. I love Stu. I'm not interested." I don't think the new owner is going to sit there and go, "No, you have to be my job."
No, you are exactly right. I don't think anybody's going to make a guy manage against his will. No chance of that.
They may put, you can't go coach the Yankees or you can't go to Boston, because you have a contract with us. I mean, they could do those kind of stipulations, but if you just said, "I don't want to be here," I don't think they're going to hold them to it. Yeah.
No, I think you're right. The only thing that they have going for them, and because no one really knows what these guys are about, is that Cash, born and raised, local story, local guy makes good with his hometown team. So it means a lot to him. But don't you think there's a part just like Joe Madden that would like to get away from here and see how the other half lives? Go manage a team that actually can spend money and have resources to get the best players? Of course he would.
Yeah.
So all that factors in there. It's going to be fascinating. Not much college football this weekend. I was looking at the schedule. I mean, I think the best game is Penn State, Oregon.
Oh, there's a lot of good national games.
Yeah.
You got what, LSU, or no, it's Oklahoma, Ole Miss, I think. Or no, it's LSU, Ole Miss this weekend.
It was LSU, Ole Miss, yeah.
LSU, Ole Miss, Penn State, Oregon. I mean, there's some good national games.
Notre Dame plays Arkansas.
Yeah.
USC,
but
Illinois.
Florida, USF, Miami, I think, are all on byes.
Mm-hmm. Florida State plays at Virginia. That's the only state team.
That's a good game. That's a big game for them, I think.
It is, especially the way they played so far. Yep. You don't want them to fall down.
Yep.
Because they had a bye week last week, so they got to get a little better.
Yep.
Just looking through the schedule, it's meh.
Yep. And then some lightning news. So, training camp was resumed today. They had Wednesday off. Braden Point, Pontus Holmberg did not practice.
Ooh.
John Cooper says nothing to worry about.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, what's that all about?
And then Andrei Vasilevskiy, who has not practiced in training camp yet. John Cooper says he expects him to return to practice on Monday and be ready for the regular season.
That's really good news because you got to have him for the regular season.
Yep. It's been player management. They haven't really detailed much, but says he anticipates he'll be back Monday to practice and ready for the regular season. So,
yeah. Just seems like every year, those guys kind of have their own thing and they know when they got to play and how much they got to play. And
well, yeah, there is that. And if he just needs a little time or whatever, great. But 2 years ago, it was the same. He practiced for like 10 minutes, came off the ice, and then it was like, well, he's just, dealing with something. Oh, he had back surgery.
Yeah, he was done.
And he was out, missed the first 20 games, and then never was really the same that year.
No.
And so that's your worry when Vazzy misses the start of training camp, and they're kind of, it's just player management. You're going, wait a minute, this feels a lot like 2 years ago.
Maybe he has a back injury again, yeah.
Or something, like,
Yeah, something's bothering him, yeah.
But obviously something is, otherwise he would be out there, but.
Sure.
So, but Cooper says Monday he should be back to practice, hopefully. So he won't play this week. There's games Friday and Saturday night, so tonight and tomorrow, preseason games at
when does the season open, Steve?
October 9th. Thursday, October 9th. So we're less than 2 weeks away from the home opener, or the season opener for the Lightning.
It's incredible. We're approaching the best time of the year, even though it's 1,090 degrees outside. I'm telling you, I stood out there at practice. I'm just like so over it, man. September, 25th? And just roasting out there. I don't know how the guys do it. Good luck to Philadelphia coming down here on Friday to, quote, acclimate to the weather, buddy, because you might as well just take them all to the beach and get them sunburned.
Well, now we're getting that time of year. What, Imelda is going to form. It looks like it's going to Carolina.
Right. There's a couple tropical areas out there.
Yep.
Yeah.
But Imelda looks like Carolina is going to get wet.
It's bad for Carolina, good for Florida. I'm not going to knock on wood, but it certainly hasn't been the lining up of storms that it was a year ago. Thank God. We don't need that again. But get me to October. Get me to November. The first cold front. We should have a lottery when the first cold front will make it all the way down to Tampa Bay. It's probably about November 20th or something like that at the earliest. But it's been really uncomfortable. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they practice. And we got my man Tom Moore out there at 96 in his jacket every day. Like, I just don't get it. Don't know how they endure it, but they do. And they'll be ready. They'll be ready for Sunday. We'll be ready for Sunday as well. And we appreciate you guys listening each and every week. Go see our friends at Breitling Boutique International Plaza Mall. That's where you're going to find the men's watches, the Navitiners, the Chronomats, beautiful sports watches for your wife, your girlfriend, as well as the NFL team watches, 32 teams, 32 different watches. While supplies last, it's Breitling Boutique at International Plaza, and let them know you heard about it right here on Sports Day Tampa Bay. For Steve Versnick, I am Rick Stroud of the Tampa Bay Times. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll talk to you on Monday.